Well, now we're headed over to our top 5 segment, and this week it is top 5 movies of 2025. A
Yes.
lot of good ones, man, a lot of good ones, but I only gave one 5 out of 5 letterbox review the entire year. I actually gave 2, but one was too hastily because I was just so excited. But really, there's only one real one that got a 5 out of 5. But we'll get there. We'll get there. My number 5 actually goes to Thunderbolts. That's right, man. Marvel had kind of a lukewarm year last year, but I think a high point was Thunderbolts. I think, what we're able to do with these characters that we already know and love and bring them all together and are kind of like the ragtag team. It was fun, man. It was
Yeah.
fun. I mean, you saw a lot of interaction on social media with it. You saw the new Avengers debut, I guess you could say. I'm just super excited to see where this team goes moving forward. Obviously, they're going to pop back up in Avengers Doomsday. Don't know the scope of what their roles are going to be in Avengers Doomsday, but I do think that they are the future of the MCU. Hopefully, we all know that it's going to be a clean slate here soon. So hopefully, the Thunderbolts can stay in place with all of that. So yeah, number 5 for me. Thunderbolts.
Yeah, very interesting too. I think the only thing they did wrong with that movie is they failed with the marketing with the asterisk. Remember, it was Thunderbolts asterisk, and then because the name was supposed to shift to the New Avengers, and it did shift to the New Avengers, yet people still call it Thunderbolts, which is hilarious to me. It's like they needed to do a better job with that. It was hokey, but we get it. But it was, I don't know, they could have done better. But I agree with you. I love the movie. I thought it was really well done in vein of Civil War. I just thought it was really good. My number 5 is a movie that nobody saw, which is really sad because it's a fantastic film with 2 phenomenal actors giving Oscar-worthy performances. My number 5 is A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. I don't understand. You had Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, and this film is beautiful. It's a love story, but it's more a story about redemption. These 2 troubled souls who had made mistakes in their life and regretted it. And you guys might remember seeing the trailer where they're like on this like date. And they're going to these doors that are just randomly in the middle of nowhere, and they walk through these doors, and it brings them to that point in life that they deemed a mistake or something wrong, and it was the chance to fix it, to redeem themselves. It's a beautiful story, and it's so well told, and the acting, like I said, is just phenomenal. I cried several dozen times throughout this thing. It's just so moving, and who doesn't love a good story of redemption? We've all made mistakes in our life that we wish we could just walk through a crazy-looking red door and fix, but that's not how it works. And, it also, the ending of the film, and I don't want to give too much away, but it also is like, even 2 broken souls can find love. 2 non-perfect people who think there's nobody out there for them find each other. And if that's not, just inspiring and just, I don't know, man. And I wish more people would have seen this thing. So A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, my number 5.
Number 4 for me goes to 28 Years Later. I thought this was a great adaptation in this franchise that I had no idea really how good it was before watching. And funnily enough, I still haven't seen the first one, 28 Days Later. I saw 28 Weeks Later before seeing this one. And then going into this one, I was like, okay, I like it. But I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he did a phenomenal job, a phenomenal performance, especially coming off of King. So, I mean, there really wasn't a lot to live up to after that. But I thought this was awesome. And it did well enough to where, obviously, there's going to be 28 Years Later Bone Temple coming out this year. So Danny Boyle is on a high right now. He's continuing to resurface in the limelight of Hollywood. And I hope that continues to happen because he's a pretty good creative, in my opinion. So I hope that we continue to see more of him in the next couple of years. So yeah, number 4 for me, 28 Years Later.
There you go. My number 4, staying in the vein of horror or suspense, Stephen King, the master of them all, The Long Walk. Another film, sadly, that I pretty much sat in the theater by myself to watch. This one just didn't hit, and I get it because it's very intense. It's very hard to watch, and I think the stark realization of this could be where we're headed in this country is terrifying. So, you typically go to the movies to escape, right? To get away from reality, and this film could very much be reality soon. So I get it why maybe it didn't, light up at the box office, but you should definitely watch it. If you can, this film, it's brilliantly told. The adaptation from book to screen is spot on. It's brilliantly acted. Oh my God, the phenomenal performances. You feel for everyone in this film. It's just gut-wrenching performances from the entire cast. It's shot beautifully. The tone in which they tell this story, the sequence of shots that they use, and these kids really walked these distances, like miles and miles. There was no bullshit. They weren't just walking in. They were literally doing these walks while they were shooting. So the authenticity and the realism of what was happening is just, you could feel it. You literally could. And so that's why I put it on my list. It's just a brilliantly done film with a really terrifying story that makes you think, which is one of the things Stephen King does really well. And like I said, this adaptation did really well. And both these kids, both the lead actors, deserve Oscar nominations, in my opinion. They just knocked it out of the park. My number 4, The Long Walk, man.
Very nice, very nice. I like what they did with the influencers, all the TikTok people who
Yes.
they had and come and watch. They had treadmills instead of seats, and they had to
Yes.
walk
Walk
along
the
the
whole.
entire time. I thought
Brilliant.
that was awesome.
Yep.
Number 3 for both of us is the reimagining of the DC universe and why we have so much hope for James Gunn's DCU. And we're talking about Superman.
Yes.
Superman was the one that I hastily gave 5 out of 5 for, even though it's really a 4 out of 5. I gave it a 5 out of 5 because I've never really been much of a Superman fan. I've been wholeheartedly admitting that for so many years now. And I think that completely changed for me when this film came out because I loved freaking David Cornsweet's interpretation of Superman. I loved Lois Lane. I loved freaking what's his name who played Lex. And I think that this cast, they get it. I think they truly understand the embodiment of those characters. And that's why I'm so excited to see what the DC is going to change into, hopefully continuing to change into, depending on mergers and things like that. But Superman, it gave me new hope for the DC universe, which I've never really had before since, the whole Dark Knight franchise with Christopher Nolan and
Right.
Christian Bale. So, yes, super excited. And I can say that I'm a Superman fan now.
There you go. And my number 3, also Superman. I think not only did the actors understand the characters, right, as you said, and embody the characters, but it's because the director and the writer, James Gunn, also embodies and understands and knows the characters. He has a passion and a love for these characters, and they mean something to him. And anytime you get that, you're going to get it right. And he got it right. He brought it back to what makes Superman beautiful to begin with. It's the fact that he's a failed human like the rest of us. He might be this all-powerful alien from another planet, but in the end, he's just a human who makes mistakes and fails like everyone else and is just searching for acceptance and love and everything everybody else is. And David Cornsweet fought for, and this is why I really like him, is the trunks. Man, there was discussion. Do we put the trunks? Do we not put the trunks? And he's like, hell yeah, we put the trunks because that's what Superman is. He wants to be this big, lovable, goofy guy that kids look at. And it's like, so that said to me, he does understand the character. He does get it. Superman's so often referred to as the big blue Boy Scout. Exactly. It's what so I agree with you. And what this one does that the original 78 Superman did not is get Lex Luthor right. I don't get me wrong. I say this all the time. I don't dislike Gene Hackman. I don't like this Gene Hackman's performance as Lex Luthor. I just didn't like the version of Lex Luthor. Nicholas Hoult, this version is the version of Lex that I love the most, and he personified it. He nailed it. So and for me, that really set this film up to be a success. And their dynamic back and forth is just brilliant. So yeah, my number 3, I'm right there with you, Superman, and I'm excited to see Supergirl. And let's hope Netflix doesn't fuck it up. let's hope that James Gunn stays and that they continue to do what they're doing, because they're building something special, man.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Number 2 for me goes to Paul Thomas Anderson's and Leonardo DiCaprio's One Battle After Another. I really freaking enjoyed this film. I think I had this one at a 4.5 or something like that. But it was one of those that sat with me for a very long time. And it honestly brought me back to falling in love with movies again, because it reminded me so much of the first time I did fall in love with the cinematic art of storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was really portrayed with this story. It's so different than anything else that's been out there recently. Obviously, I would say at least 70% chance of winning Best Picture. It's definitely the front runner right now, in my opinion. And I do think that if more stories continuing to show themselves and present themselves like this, then Hollywood's going to be okay. But I do think that we just have to make these films shorter, y'all. Why are the films so damn long? I'm just saying, like, they don't have to be cinematic pieces of art and be 3 hours long. We can tell a damn good film in 2 hours. Like, like I'm just saying, 2.5 hours is stretching it. I get it. 3 hours, it's still a freaking good movie, but damn, y'all, like, come on. But yeah, anyway, One Battle After Another, one of my favorite films of the entire year. It's one, like I said, that sits with you. So many epic performances. Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Tiana Taylor, Leo. Like, it's so great. So yeah, go see it on HBO Max. One Battle After Another.
That's right. Yeah, love it. Love it. My number 2 is Song Sung Blue. This one kind of came out of nowhere. They didn't really do a lot of marketing until right before it came out. 2 phenomenal performances, Oscar-worthy in my opinion, from 2 phenomenal actors, Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, 2 of my all-time faves to begin with. This is a true story. I don't think a lot of people knew that. At first, everybody thought this was like a story about Neil Diamond, that Hugh Jackman was playing Neil Diamond. No. This is about Thunder and Lightning. They were a Neil Diamond cover band, and real life story. The tragedies and the things that this couple had to overcome is just unbelievable. And the way they tell this story, it's based off the documentary that was told about this couple. It's so brilliantly done. The reason I love this thing, though, is it's just, this movie is all heart. It's a love story from start to finish about these 2 people who absolutely adored each other and were the epitome of what love is supposed to be. Even through the struggles, even through the heartache. This film is about human nature and about just being human. And set to the backdrop of Neil Diamond songs, which just, hello, it's Neil Diamond. For me, how good this film in my theater, which is rare because you hear me, I normally go see these types of films by myself. I'm usually the only. My theater was literally packed, and they were singing the Neil Diamond songs. I mean, Sweet Caroline, they were belting it out loud, Sweet Caroline, and they were like, dun, dun, dun. And it was amazing. And then there was silence. Everybody in the theater was crying at moments where you're supposed to be crying. They felt it. It was the most, what you can't get at home. You can't get at home. And that's what Logan was talking about before. Theater experience. It was incredible. Song Sung Blue. It might be an Oscar-worthy contender, I think, at least for performances from Hugh and Kate, but the film should be too. Just, you can still go see it. Go see it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Song Sung Blue.
That film should have been released more in the fall time and not the Christmas time, in my opinion. Like, I mean, the fall was garbage when it came to the box
Yeah,
office, and I feel like those two stars would have brought some light to the box office. So, just my opinion.
I agree.
But number one for me, my only real 5 out of 5 for the entire year is Jay Kelly. Netflix released it. It's going to be an Oscar contender without a doubt. Adam Sandler, George Clooney, Laura Dern, so many others. I think that I related so much to this film because the constant battle of being preoccupied with chasing the dream and missing out on life,
Yes.
but also not taking advantage of life and chasing the dream. The constant battle of trying to balance and making sure that I'm present when I'm doing stuff with the family, but also making sure I'm trying to put as enough effort as possible into making dreams come true. It's the constant grind of a creative. Hear any creative talk about their process, and they have to sacrifice something,
Absolutely.
but you have to figure out that balance so that you can have the best of both worlds. That's why the phrase is there. The best of both worlds is having your dream, but also having your family and continuing to build your family and to grow into a family. Like, it's so many different things. I think the performances in this film were phenomenal. Billy Crudup,
Oh
his
my
two
God. Oh,
scenes that
oh.
he has, like, steal it. I love the montage at the end where it's all of George Clooney's actual films. I think that's so cool. Don't know how they got the clearance and release for all of that shit, but whatever. Um, but honestly, Adam Sandler and Laura Dern, they really make the film for me. Their relationship for the film, Adam Sandler's relationship for George Clooney's character, like, I really hope Adam Sandler wins Best Supporting. I don't know if he's going to, but that performance, like, we say it time and time again, especially after Uncut Gems and all of the different films that he's put out. He is such a phenomenal dramatic actor, and he deserves more recognition. That's why I was so happy to see him on that Hollywood Reporter roundtable
Yeah.
conversation with all of those dramatic actors who are hoping for that Oscar run.
Right.
So that was really cool to see. But yeah, number one for me, Jay Kelly, just because of how much it hit home for me.
Well, and the one thing that you didn't say that I agree with everything you just said about what it represents and what it is and how it goes through and how you connect with it and how I connect with it. The one thing that I also saw is imposter syndrome, which so many creatives also deal with. It's because he basically stole this life from Billy Crudup's character and
Yeah.
then is dealing with, does he deserve it? Is it really something that he should have? And he goes back and forth about, damn right it is. I'm like this great. And then not. He's like, oh, I took it from him and it should have been his life. And do I even belong here? Kind of a thing. So imposter syndrome is a struggle in the industry. It's like, do I really deserve all this? So it touched on so many things. Yeah, just brilliant film. Brilliant film. Good pick. My number one, also a brilliant film by a brilliant filmmaker and phenomenal actors and just team and everything that you can think. Sinners by Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. Ryan Coogler, in my opinion, is one of those guys who has figured out how to stay original, tell original stories, and still bank money for the studios. It's hard, y'all. If it's not intellectual property that's already been a hit, if it's a story nobody's heard of, like an original concept, original idea, it is rare. But Ryan Coogler has figured it out. This guy is just pumping out incredible, original, groundbreaking content and making money. It's like, that's a brilliant mind. This thing hit on every level. It is a brilliant, in my opinion, a filmmaking masterclass It is how you write a film. It is how you direct a film. It is how you shoot a film. It is how you cast a film. It is how you market a film. Everything about this film was right. It was brilliant. And to Warner Brothers' credit, not Zaslav, but Warner Brothers' credit, they took a risk on it. They're like, well, but it's Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, so okay. And then boom. So it's beautiful. I give this one 5 out of 5. And I think that we need more Ryan Cooglers in the industry. We need them. We need guys that are willing to take risk and tell stories that are original. And like just there's so many creatives out there and so many brilliant minds and so many brilliant storytellers like Ryan Coogler. So give them all a chance, studios. Give them all a chance because there's so many more Ryan Cooglers out there. And he'll be the first one to tell you that. And he's inspiring. He's just phenomenal. And Michael B., I can't say enough about that either. So Sinners, y'all. It's the way to do it. My number one, man, Sinners.
Great pick, man. Great pick. I know. I think that film, I wish I could go back and watch for the first time again.
Yes.
That would be a good top 5. Just films that we could go back and watch for the first time again. Because, like, it kind of, I watched it again at home, and I don't know if it wasn't the theatrical experience or, like, if it was watching at home or I don't know if just because I already saw it, but it didn't give the same excitement. But I'm guessing it gave that excitement because it was the first time watching it, and I was watching it in a theater, and the crowd reaction and things like that. But it's definitely interesting.
I think it's the theater experience, not so much the first time watching as it is the first time watching it with the crowd, because it's a collective. When everybody figures it out at the same time, and you get that collective. What the fuck? Yeah, you can't get that at home when you're watching it again. You can't get that. You don't get the reactions, you know? And the one-liners in that film, my theater was just busting up. With Delroy Lindo, he stole the movie for me. And my audience was just like hanging on his every word, waiting for what he was going to say. You can't get that at home. And so I think it's the theater experience. And you're right. I wish you could recapture that every time you watch a great film, but sadly you cannot.
It's true, man. It's true. Well, we want to know, what is your favorite film or some of your favorite films from 2025? Please be sure to leave a comment down in the comments section and let us know. Did we miss something? Was there something else on your mind? Please, like I said, comment below in the YouTube comment section, on Threads, X, Twitter, whatever you call it, Instagram, TikTok, all the good things. Please, we love the fan interaction. That's
yes.
for sure.